What's up, everybody? This is Cole Boling with the Boling Group at Keller Realty, One Legacy Partners here in Topeka, and you are listening to Topeka Business Uncensored. Here we go. Hey, everybody, it's Cole Boling with Topeka Business Uncensored, your local podcast in the Topeka, Kansas area where we showcase local business owners, showcase people doing some badass stuff in our community. And the gentleman I have today is no exception. This guy here I have known for quite a few years. He's been an integral part of the infrastructure of homes that my father has built. I've introduced him to people. He's introduced me to people, and now he has another amazing venture in his life that we're going to dive into around his passion and his love for music. And today I'm so pumped I finally got him here. This is Aaron Koker. Aaron, what's up, man?
How we doing, Cole?
I'm
glad to be here.
Yeah, I've waited a little while here now to get you on, so I'm excited. You know, the thing I know about this guy, and the thing I do know about Aaron, is he's a worker, and he and I are a lot alike in the idea of, we like our shiny objects. It's like, oh yeah, that's a cool idea. Let's try that. We'll try that. Right.
Yep.
And I know that he will forgive me for saying this, and because I'm the exact same way. Is, hey, if it excites me, I'm going to look at it, right? And that's where I think that we're going to hear some really neat things today about what it's like starting businesses, being a dual business owner, having multiple opportunities, having people, and all that. So first off, Aaron, why don't you tell everybody that's listening today, what is it that you do? What are your businesses that you own? And we'll start with that.
You bet. So I started Home Connections back in 1998. It's been 24 years. Hard to believe.
Used to be next to Target.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Right next to Target. Audio video installation. So worked with great people like your dad, wiring homes and getting into technology. I've always loved technology. And that's what's cool about this business is it's different every single year. New products come out, new things come out. We just figure out how to integrate them and put them into homes and businesses. So, I've been doing it that long. And then, I took on a business partner for a short period of time. And then the short version is all the way leading up to, it was about 2012. I merged with my competition here in town, Kansas Audio Video. So Kansas Audio Video, Home Connections, we came together, same staff, and now we are called Electronic Life. And it's the exact same company, but just double the staff, double the love for what we do. So
where's that? Don't you guys do you have a showroom in Topeka still?
We do. We are on 6th Street, where for the people that have been around Topeka for a while, I will say Dodge Carroll Electronics back in the day. They were there on 6th Street. We took that building and the building next to it, and we office out of there. So we are.
It used to be Topeka City Homes too, didn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yep. A lot of people probably remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's like 6th and Clay area.
Yep.
Over there. So we office out of there. We have our crews come in the mornings. And
is there a showroom there that people can go to?
It's open by appointment only, just because.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the nature of the business, we're always gone and out. So we pretty much cater to, our clients when we need to.
So before we get into the other business, let's stick here for a second. So we used to be retail, like true full blown retail, right?
Yes.
And it's funny because you mentioned Home Connection. I still call you Home Connection. Like, and that is the power of branding, right? I mean, the gentleman. So I interviewed actually last week I interviewed the good guys, the injury accident attorneys, and that's not even their branding anymore. I mean, everybody knows the Patterson Legal Group, right? And they know them as the good guys.
Yeah.
And
everybody.
That's not their branding anymore. Their branding now is in a wreck, need a check. And we got really deep into this, and it was fascinating because I was talking to Gary Patterson, and Tyler was also there, and I said, I will never not call you the good guys. And we talked about that. And in relation to Home Connection, I have watched the evolution. I've probably I think I met you about the time you started Home Connection. I didn't realize it had been that long ago, because I know that was really early on. And
Right.
and so let's just say 20 years ago, it's probably been about 20 years ago,
Yeah.
is when
Right.
we first got connected. And I've watched the evolution of your business. And the one
Hmm.
thing that I can say about the evolution of your business is that you have adapted and went leaner and leaner and leaner. And you kind of hit that when you said, now we're appoint by appointment only. So there's really no retail to that. It's
Hmm.
now, it's now handling schedules. Really, that brings staff down, this brings overhead down, right?
Hmm.
And if anybody watches Shark Tank is always negative retail, right? They're always like, there's very, very little opportunity in the world for retail anymore.
Yeah.
And yet the need for your kind of business, I still, even after all these years as a consumer, don't think the people understand what you do.
Right.
So
Well,
dive into that a little further.
yeah, you bet. Well, the market changed so much over the years, and when we first started, there was so much margin on electronics. You would be able to you would have a retail business where people came in, they pick out a TV, they pick out a sound system. It was a different feel back then. And even
Mhm.
if you walk into a Best Buy today, it's a whole different feel than what it used to be, right?
Sure.
So retail's changed quite a bit. And now, this was back then there was no Amazon, and now we have Amazon, and now we have very
Hmm.
quickly people can get product and get information and get what they need. So our customer is not the DIY customer. Our customer is not the customer that can go on and just figure out what they need and get the part that they need. um, you know we are a solutions company. So if you come in and tell me I have this room and I need some ideas what to do with it, I need to figure out how to put a home theater in here, or entertain my guests, what would be cool that I could do with that. That's what we do. So we figure out how to put all those pieces together so it works easy and it goes together and it sounds great and it works well.
Does it matter
So
what stage a house is in? Like
not
if
at
you're
all. Not
okay.
at all. There's great products on the market now for wireless, as well as, our crew that we work with, they're very skilled in fishing lines and that kind of thing. So we put all that solution together, write the bid, talk it over before we even do anything. So that's what we're all about. My customers still text me that been I've been in relationship with since 1998. So that's where I get my clientele. I do not market myself whatsoever. Um, Clients that move, they move again later in life, and different things happen with their lives. So,
Mhm.
or they own a business that they need some solutions for in their business, whether it be a conference room or whether it be some audio in the reception area of their business or whatever.
Mhm.
We can accommodate all that. So, customers will text me all times during the day. I don't have hours. You know what that's like. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
So, I mean, for some of us, we don't have hours. We just take clients as they come. So my phone is what that's all about. So if you need to get a hold of me, you
Mhm.
just get a hold of me and we help you out. And
So a
that's
true entrepreneur is what I'm hearing,
yeah,
right?
that's really what it is. I don't have hours. I'm kind of where I need to be, where I need to be.
Yeah.
So,
So talking about branding, you said that you really don't anymore, right? You don't
right,
market yourself anymore. You're
right,
not really out there as much anymore in the public forward facing
right.
piece of it. How critical was branding early on in your business
Super critical.
for now, like
Yeah.
for what you're seeing now?
Right. I mean, back then I was in all the things, the phone book to online marketing to uh, you know, magazines, you name it. I was in it. I was developing my brand. So you don't get to that place without building your name. And you have to build your name. And then when you do a job, you have to do a great job. You have to do good work. And if you mess up, admit it, fix it, make it right, make the customer
Mhm.
happy, because you don't want that out there. So I make it my mission to make sure every customer is happy, and we've done a great job no matter what.
Mhm.
So that's the thing about being in business. You can't afford to let bad stuff be out there. You have to take care of your clients at all times, and that's why people
Mhm.
come back to you, right? So it's kind of like I had a good friend of mine give me a great example. When you're starting a business, it's very much like a snowball that you're just kind of starting, you're trying to get it up the hill a little bit, you're rolling it around, making the ball. And then at some point you start pushing it, and you push it up the hill, and you push it up the hill, and you get to the top of the hill, and this thing is huge. It's really hard to deal with. And you get to that point in business where it almost breaks you, because you got all the bills, you got the overhead from the building.
It breaks most.
It breaks most people because it's so much weight to try to figure out. And I admittedly, while I was building my business, there was a big part of my life and part of my time where, I needed to go get vans or more tools, or hire new employees. And I did it at the cost of not paying myself, so because I knew there would be something later on, that I was building,
right,
and I could see it work. I could see customers come in. I could see people being happy. So I was willing to do whatever I needed to do. But once that snowball gets over the hill, then you spend all your time trying to get it to roll over you, and you're keeping it from rolling on the top of you. And you have to be strategic how you build, because you don't want to grow too fast once that happens. So that was definitely something that happened in my business, is that you have to have good people to be able to grow. And that is the key reason why I decided to merge with my competition, because I can't go to a local college or tech school and just pick somebody out and say, hey, now you can come work for me. I mean, it takes years for an employee of this kind of business to be able to get real world experience, to be able to know what to do and how to troubleshoot. So you can't really grow super fast, because you have to have good people that know what they're doing and know how to solve problems. But by me merging with my competition, we were able to double our staff, double our tech. So it allowed us to grow faster as a group.
This is good stuff, man. I'm loving this.
Yeah.
I want to go back to when you were talking about pushing the snowball up the hill, right?
Yeah.
And now you've got all of these things you're navigating in a business.
Right.
If you're passionate about the business, did you find that the passion stayed and kept you pushing that snowball and navigating all this stuff? Or was there a time where you just knew you had to do it because it was about making money, supporting your family? What was there ever a time where the passion was like not enough, or maybe it was the opposite? Maybe that was tell me a little bit about where your head is around passion and dealing with the logistics of everything.
I think, like anything, you have your highs and lows in life. You have to tell yourself to keep going, keep going, keep going. Sometimes there were certainly times where I've wanted to give up, and I just wanted to say, maybe it's time to hang it up. But the fact of the matter is, I think God gives us certain talents that pushes our buttons, things that don't get taught in school, things that go, when I do this, it excites me. When I do this, I love it. It's not about the money. It's about the fact that when I do this thing, I really feel good, and I've always felt good about helping people.
Yeah.
And I've always felt good about solving problems. The way my mind always works is I want to figure out how something works. If I see any object, I want to take it apart and figure it out. How does it work? So when there's a problem, I find it as a personal mission and a personal challenge to get to the end of it, to go, why does that not work? What do I need to do to fix it? And for some people like myself and my team, those are things we really enjoy, and we really put a smile on our face once we figure it out.
Yeah.
So,
well,
for other people, when there's problems, they're like, I don't want to deal with it.
Let's stick on this whole passion piece of it, and now let's shift into this new business venture that you started a few years back, and I know this one lights you up. Actually lights up the room and lights you up. So tell everybody a little bit about what this is.
So 4 years ago, first of all, I have one of my passions outside of work is making music. I've been a drummer all of my life. I've been in bands. I've really enjoyed being involved in music. So I created a studio in my own home. I'm in it right now. It's my office. It's my workspace. I have a vocal lab. I have all kinds of ways to make music in here. I started bringing people in, making music, and it just lit another passion inside of me. I realized I hadn't done it for so many years. I gave it up because I went to home. I started Home Connections. I started that business. but a big piece of me was like, how I want to make music. Well, you know, being in business and having to run that company, I didn't really want to get involved in the band anymore. I didn't want to have to rely on other people to make music.
Sure.
So I started to DJ. I was like, that's cool. I enjoy DJing. I enjoy
Yeah.
music. So I did that for a little bit. And me being me, I wanted to integrate every aspect of lighting and electronics and how great can I make it be. So I made an investment, you know, to do big sound, big lights, and provide what I always do, which is a top-notch experience, you know. And I wanted to make it like, charge this, but I'm going to give you this, you know, up here when I first got started.
Sure.
So, you know, doing so just got me more and more gigs. And in a very short period of time, I was honestly a little overwhelmed of all the
No, you don't say.
what was coming in. Yeah, because basically 2 jobs, right? So that's at the point where you have to look at that and you have to go draw a line down a piece of paper and you start writing out all the things you do in one day. And then you circle all the things that you can delegate off. You say, what can I do? What do I really need to be a part of? What is it that I need to be a part of to deal with? And so I started doing that in my business and freed up some time by doing that. Hired some people that came into the office that took some of that load off of me and my team, and it kind of freed me up to do some other things. But that's a little challenging when your head is in one business and you're trying to also start another one. So what I did was I said, you know what, Aaron, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do one thing, just one thing every day to push my new company forward, whatever it is, however small or however big, one thing. And at the end of the year, I will have 365 things I've done to my business. So, you know, that's what I worked on. You know, every day I would get home from my job. I'm like, I don't feel like working on the DJ thing. It's not a big deal, you know. But then I said, you know what? No, we're going to make this something. So every day I worked on it, whether it be my own website or whether it be a business plan or how my pricing was going to be or what I was going to do for next year, how I was going to grow it. I would manifest that into tangible growth. And that's what I did to build it. And it's been an incredible ride.
So let's dive in here a little further. You now have 2 businesses. You're running 2 businesses. You're starting to build 2 worlds and rebuild and continue to build and strategic. Yet the piece here that really fascinates me the most is you actually started talking about something that I like to call as systems, right? So you mentioned earlier a few things with Electronic Life about, you know, kind of the way that you guys, you know, do things and moving around and all that. And then you start talking about in it's Sound Origin, right? Is the name of your
Yep.
Okay. So in Sound Origin, your systems now are we're building out a show, right? And now that show is in place in a location, and now you just show up and you leave and you show up and you leave, and the systems are working. So we remove Electronic Life, we remove Sound Origin. Now we're just talking about business. Now, when we talk about business, and we have what I'm hearing in your world as well, it doesn't matter if you run a car wash, if you own a restaurant, if you own an electronics company, business is still business, right? Our client is still the consumer. Yet we are only allowed so much time in a day. And yet you've kind of touched on it, but you haven't really gone there yet. So I'm going to push you there. People, right? So we know that the only way you can grow is by having people around you that see your vision, share your vision, and that you can actually hire or lead in a sense, if it's a commission deal, right? Which is still a hire. Yet, like I'll take another approach to it. If you look at any billionaire, let's just take Mark Cuban, for instance. A lot of people know Mark Cuban, Shark Tank, and all that. And one of the things that I love about almost every single one of the people I've ever met personally in person, or these famous billionaires, whatever, they all say something that's very fascinating. They always say, you can't scale until you do enough of one thing for a long time. And that's where you hit the nail on the head, right? You do enough of one thing for a long time. And I had this multi-millionaire tell me one time, he goes, you're not allowed to hire any help, any support, any staff until you make $100,000 in that one thing. And that'll never leave me, right? And so when I'm really considering and listening to what you're saying is there comes a time where you no longer can grow on your own. You're maxed out on your money. Your skill level's much higher. Now we need people. So talk to me a little bit about people and what it has been like for you with people, managing people, growing your business, and then how people have helped you go to the next level.
Totally. In my Electronic Life business, I have somebody that has been with me since pretty much the early days, right? Early 2000s. His name's JP. JP is kind of my right hand. If I need something, he reads my mind almost. We're work wise.
It's gonna be a long time.
Yeah. So he's been a huge help for me to take some things off my plate, and I think it's good to find people that work with your rhythm, with how you think and how you need to accomplish the end goal. If you are constantly fighting with people to explain why you're doing something this way or that way, you need somebody that has almost married passion to what you're doing.
Sure.
It has to go along that same path of the same passion that you have, and see that in somebody, and then that's somebody that you can take and you can train and you can build into to then go to those next levels. When I started my DJ business, I realized there was only so far you could scale that, because the problem with the DJ business is that it takes 3 hours of your life just set up and set down, let alone playing the gig itself. And so it really isn't feasible to take on so much if you want to have a life at all, let alone if you're trying to do another job, right? So, my end game was always, how do I put systems in place like you're talking about, where I can then start to scale that off. And I'm in that transition period right now. What I realized was I don't want to do the setup and set down anymore. I can't do that, but I still need to scale. So I got in with a local venue here, and I got with them and said, hey, what if I provided all the sound, all the lights, and it would be awesome. I mean, it's just going to be like off the top good lighting and sound. And I put it into your venue. In exchange, I'm your only DJ. So I walk in 15 minutes before, I walk out 15 minutes after. And that helps me to control my home life and have still a home life, even on the weekends, and still be able to go to these events and still do what I love to do. So I made it to that phase, which allowed me to double my business immediately. After that, now I'm in the phase where I'm looking for that right person then I can mentor into, because I'm not even using my mobile setup now. So, and I turn down about 25 to 30 some weddings a year. So
yeah, that's not good.
It's not good, but
good
that's
problem
okay.
Though.
It's a good problem, but it's like you said, you really need to have all your systems in place first. And that's what I wanted. I want something that's very turnkey for me. So even the paperwork on the back end, the things you don't see, I send my clients, after they book with the venue, they go to a website that is just for them, that explains everything. They fill out a form. So the first time I see my client is when the form comes to me. And then I have an app that I have had put together and designed that has every single one of my couples with all their timeline and everything that they fill out themselves. And then I print off a nice sheet on my iPad that I run my event with. So everything is very systemized and everything's put together. And that is going to be able to be transferred to somebody that I want to mentor. So I'm looking for that special person that I want to mentor and bring into this business now. So that's the phase that I'm at. I'm not going to grow this business. I will never grow this business any more than I am now. I've maxed it out.
Yeah,
other than bringing in people. So that's where we're at. The point where you need people.
Well, I mean, most DJ spots are Friday, Saturday nights, right? Like,
Yep.
and that, and
Yep.
I've watched a lot of people start that business and then go, that's a hard
Not for
because
me, right? Not
yeah.
for me.
And so it takes a very special person to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that's where passion does come in. I mean, I know how much you love it. I've watched you in action. My brother-in-law got married at this venue and with you as the DJ, and it was phenomenal. It was you were one of the best DJs I've ever seen when it came to wedding. You got everybody into it. That is the number one thing that I have seen is missing in so many weddings, is the DJ just doesn't get them into it, right? And if the DJ can get you into it, the whole wedding, people just remember it, right?
They do.
And yet, I love what you're saying. Everything here is great, and I'm excited for what you're working on. I mean, you're showing off some technologies. You got the opportunities here. Really, you have a lot of opportunities now to grow. The more and more you're finding people, the more and more opportunities. I mean, the DJ world itself, I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking out loud, like with the DJ world, if you found the right people, I mean, you could blow that could be huge opportunities, right? Even with Electronic Life, I mean, even though you're not going on the retail front of things anymore, and you're not necessarily selling, one-to-one TV here, TV there, but really the opportunities of what the generations are dealing with now. Because I mean, I consider myself a fairly techie guy, and even I get confused with some of the new technologies, even though they're trying to make it more simple, right? I mean, I still remember when we hired you 10 years ago, we set up a house. I wanted to walk in. I wanted people to be able to go, boom, on my phone. You had to bring out a receiver and then this other adapter and then this other adapter. And I was just like, I'm glad I hired him, right, to figure this out. Now I buy the receiver that's already hooked up and everything's there. And yet I can't even get A and B to sound. And I know the world that you live in over here, how complicated it is. And anybody that's listening to this, you should really consider bringing in a professional like Aaron and his crew to look at your system, because you're probably overcomplicating it. You probably have receivers that are too old or wiring that's outdated and maybe don't even need the wiring anymore, right? So I really want you guys to consider Aaron. Aaron, if somebody wanted to hire you to come in, what does that process look like?
It's just contacting me however you want to contact me. If you're not sure how to find me, you can always just go to Facebook and find me that way. You can message me in the evening. If you get a hold of my cell phone, program it into your phone and then use me as your personal access at any point. If I'm busy, I just don't answer, but most of the time I do. So
all of his contact information will be connected to whatever system you're watching this on. It'll be in the description. I'll have his phone number, his email address, links to his whatever contact information that we need, Facebook, social media, and all that. So you could contact him. Currently, though, Sound Origin is not available for hire. Is that correct?
That is correct. Only through Willows Bend.
Okay. So if you're getting married at Willows Bend, Sound Origin, Aaron Koker, in the future, I do believe, and I know this guy well enough, that it will be available for the general public.
It will happen when it's right.
It will happen. And your talent and your passion is there, and that makes a big difference. So, we've touched on a lot today. I know you and I could talk forever. Like,
it's true.
We have that friendship. We have that quality, time where we actually can have conversations. Yet I won't keep you all day. I want to dive into this further when you do take Sound Origin more publicly allowed. I want you back on here, and I want you to. I really want to push that a little bit more. I want to see what new stuff you've come up with. And then continuing to grow Electronic Life. I wish you the best in that. I know that area can be frustrating. It can be a challenge, and yet you don't really have a lot of competition doing it anymore. And for reasons or one another, it's just the way that it has trickled down, and you stayed going. So I know that is going to get even better and better for you. So Aaron, thanks, man, for being on today. Really appreciate you being on. Yeah. And like I said, any contact information will be connected to this. If you want somebody to come out and evaluate all of your home electronic, your business electronic stuff, everything, correct? You take care of it all.
Everything.
All right.
Solution.
All right, Aaron, we'll catch you on the next time I have you on. Thanks again for being here, and I greatly appreciate you.
Thanks, Cole.
Hey, everybody, this is Cole Boling with the Boling Group at Keller Williams, One Legacy Partners in Topeka, and this is Topeka Business Uncensored. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Topeka Business Uncensored, where we interview business owners in the Topeka, Kansas area about their business and a little bit about them as a person. I'm Cole Boling, and I am one of the co-owners with my wife, Jamie, of the Boling Group real estate team with Keller Williams, One Legacy Partners in Topeka. If you are thinking about selling, buying, or investing in real estate, I'd love to connect with you through our website at thebolinggroup.com.